When emotions run high and the nervous system is on full alert, our usual ways of communicating simply break down. Good intentions and logical arguments often fall flat or even make things worse. In these moments, what matters most isn't what you say, but how you say it and whether your approach matches the urgency of the situation. This video explores what happens when relationships hit a crisis point and why theoretical advice, no matter how well-meaning, can't substitute for tactical, real-world tools. We'll compare standard responses with high-fidelity protocols designed to de-escalate conflict, restore safety, and preserve connection. Let's dive into the field manual for high-stakes communication, where the first rule is, in a crisis you need tools, not theory. Imagine facing a relationship emergency. Someone is locked in a room, shouting, and logic is out the window. Here, two approaches emerge. The first is the blueprint, the standard analytical advice focused on how things should be. It's great for planning but useless in an emergency. The second is the fire extinguisher, practical, immediate, and focused on safety. In a real crisis, you don't need a map, you need a way out. High-fidelity communication means validating pain without tolerating danger, and sometimes, sitting quietly by the door and offering calm presence is more powerful than any well-crafted speech. The priority is always safety, physical and emotional, before any attempt at resolution. Dealing with obsessive jealousy is like navigating a maze built from imagined evidence and constant suspicion. Standard responses often focus on defining the problem, listing red flags like monitoring, isolation, and invalidation. But for someone trapped in this cycle, definitions aren't enough. High-fidelity communication offers practical tools, validate the emotion but challenge destructive behaviors. For example, using a simple exercise dividing a page into facts versus stories helps separate reality from paranoia. This approach shifts the focus from accusation to vulnerability, giving both partners a way to step out of the emotional whirlwind and into a space where healing can begin. Your partner is neurodivergent, such as autistic with high sensory sensitivity. Crisis moments require even more adaptation. In these cases, verbal communication may not work at all. Standard advice might suggest talking things through, but during a shutdown that isn't possible. High-fidelity response means recognizing the limits. Sometimes a simple written message or a nonverbal gesture, like leaving a glass of water by the door, speaks volume. The key is to communicate in a way the other person can actually process, not just what feels right to you. It's about meeting them where they are with empathy and flexibility. And trust is fragile, especially with partners who have a history of abandonment or borderline personality disorder. Even small secrets can trigger major crises. Standard honesty, simply telling the truth, may not be enough. High-fidelity communication goes further. It invites your partner into the decision-making process. Instead of saying, "I need to be honest," try, "I received a message that made me uncomfortable, and I want us to decide together what to do." This transfer of power transforms your partner from a passive recipient into an active collaborator, dissolving paranoia at its root and building real trust. Sometimes the truth itself can be devastating, like discovering a partner's emotional affair during a period of deep depression and parental burnout. Here, confronting the issue head-on might cause more harm than good. High-fidelity communication means diagnosing the pain behind the behavior, not just the behavior itself. The first step is to stabilize everyone's well-being. Seek support for yourself, build a safety net for your partner, and only then approach the hard conversation with radical empathy. Ask what pain is driving this, rather than focusing solely on the betrayal. In existential crises, empathy and preparation are more valuable than the raw truth. Wrap up, let's summarize the core principles of high-fidelity communication in relational crises. First, always prioritize safety, stabilize before trying to resolve. Second, validate feelings but set limits on destructive behavior. Third, adapt your message to the other person's system. Change the channel, language, or timing as needed. Fourth, radical transparency, sharing power and inviting partnership, builds trust and dissolves fear. Finally, look beyond the surface. Diagnose the pain behind the act, not just the act itself. These principles transform crisis moments into opportunities for deeper connection and healing, even when things seem at their worst.